Hi everybody, it's Jay Nanda with Access.com here at the Rockstar Energy Drink Uproar Festival, Corpus, Christi, Texas. A little rainy but a very special afternoon. Bunch of bands about to hit the stage. Godsmack, Seether, Pop Evil, Skillet, Buckcherry headlining the second stage, many more. And I have the pleasure of being joined right now with the bass player from Seether, Mr. Dale Stewart. How you doing, sir?
Good, man.
It's good to see you. Thanks for taking the time to do it.
Yeah, no sweat.
Well, I know you guys have been out on the road for quite a while now with the Uproar Fest. And Isolate, Medicate, new album came out July 1st, just a couple months ago. Technically a 6th studio album. Outstanding songs on there once again. I mean, you guys I mean, your personal favorite of mine, but obviously a lot of the fans can't go wrong. They obviously love a lot of the stuff you put out, as do I. Start off the bat, you know, how is this album, either songwriting-wise or recording-wise, how is this different from anything you may have done in the past?
You know, I don't feel like we, approached it differently than we normally do. But I certainly feel it's a, it's a progression. It's an evolution. I think, bands are always changing. People are changing. The way you think about music changes, and even things you hear might influence you in a different way. So I feel like everything we put out is different to what came before, but it's not necessarily a conscious effort on our part. We just like to write songs, and basically if we're feeling it and if we're enjoying what's happening, we put it on the album. If we're working on a song and everyone's not digging it or having a good time playing it, then we show it. Yeah. So we're just kind of a garage band, man. We just like to pop a couple beers, do a couple shots, make some noise, make some music, and yeah, whatever happens, just happens.
Let me ask you about a couple songs in particular on the new album, the ones that stick out to me. First off, after a few listens, Sept.3 Stuff is a very nice, slow, mellow song, and then you've got the angst of Sean Morgan and the rest of you guys in a song like Suffer It All. Yeah. Any stories behind either of those two?
Yeah, Suffer It All is actually, that's one of my favorite songs in the album. We wanted to kind of get back, I guess, or just felt right to kind of get back to, doing some of the heavier, riff stuff. That's just, where we were at the time, I guess. But yeah, like when we started out, we were actually, I think, much heavier of a band. And I think over the years people have, felt like maybe we've gotten soft. And I think that's, maybe a case of, melody in music. If you put melody even into a heavy song, people are like, oh, they went soft, it's not all screaming. So we never quite got that, but with a song like Suffer It All, I guess it was kind of like, hey, look, we can still, do riffs and be angry and do all that kind of stuff. I like those songs. Those for me are the fun ones to play. It's funny when you do this a long enough time, you have to play certain songs that people expect of you at the show. So by default, the set becomes more of a singles set. So you don't get to play the heavy stuff on the albums that radio doesn't want to touch. So by default, the band kind of evolves into this, singles driven thing, at least live. But yeah, I do enjoy playing the heavy ones most. Those are the ones that get the best crowd response.
Well, normally I don't like to ask it and have a set list ruined for me. I'm not one of those guys that goes on the internet and looks at the set list beforehand. But since we are talking about Suffer It All, will you be playing that tonight?
No, unfortunately not. We actually, what we have been doing, and we change the set list up, from night to night. But what we have been doing is, when we give a shout out to the bands, before the last song, and we say, get ready for Godsmack, and then we just do that riff for Suffer It All. So
nice.
Kind of do a little bit.
Oh, that's good enough.
But again, we only have like 50 minutes on this on this tour, so and there's certain songs you have to play. Right. So it leaves very little time for anything else. The only new one we're actually doing with the new album is the new single.
Oh, wow, that's the only one.
So it's the only one we have time for, unfortunately. But you know, our own shows, you know, we play an hour and a half at least. So you know, then we can throw in, you know, a couple more new ones, and the new ones are fun. You know, I mean, there's songs we've played literally thousands of times, and you know, I still enjoy playing them, but I enjoy the new ones more because they're fresh. It's I don't know, it's just the whole sort of different energy, and it's fun. You know, it keeps it fresh. Hopefully for us and the fans.
And another one of the new songs that I wanted to ask you about is "Same Damn Life," because you have those background vocals kicking really high.
Right.
I never thought I'd feel so small. I mean, that's a different sound that we're not used to hearing from you guys, but it works very well. I mean, that had to be extra special in the studio for you, right?
Yeah, it was, and Sean actually did those in the studio, so you know, it's up to me now to step up and, you know, do them live. But yeah, like I got a good falsetto, but no, it's just one of those songs. It's, you know, it was just a fun song to do. You know, it was quirky. It's got that, like, it's basically, you know, I will follow him. You know, I love him, and where he goes, I'll follow. You know, so that's basically the riff. You know, and we kind of pegged in the studio like, wait, that's the I will follow him thing. We're like, that's awesome. Let's do this. You know. So it's a quirky song. It's kind of a throwback. It was just a fun song to do. You know, we didn't take it too seriously, and yeah, it's just you know, I actually think that it looks like that might be the next single actually.
Great. And
that's always seems to be the case. You know, when we don't take it too seriously and do something quirky or funny, like, you know, country song or, you know, something like that, people are like, that's awesome. That needs to be a single. We're like, what? That? Okay. Because you know, it's hard to tell as the band sometimes. You don't know. You know, it's going to be the best single, and because you're so involved and attached to all the songs, so you need, you know, experienced, you know, people and management, the label saying, okay, we think this one's going to work. Well, okay, we'll trust you guys. Because I love them all. It's like tossing eggs out the nest. You know, you don't want to, like, pick a favorite child kind of scenario.
Well, you know, ever since Gasoline came out, Disclaimer 2, back in 2002, 2003, ever since I heard that you guys sing that, I've been on board from the get-go. And Disclaimer 2 set the bar very high, but you guys have continued to pull out solid albums.
Thank you.
Year after year after year. And because of that, I have been one of those diehard fans that loves to hear the songs that you rarely play live, but understanding that you do have to play the hits to appease the masses out there, especially at a festival like today, where you only have 50 minutes. So having said that, and you just mentioned country song, I do have to ask you about one of your hits, because being based in San Antonio, you guys filmed the video for Country Song in a town called Bernie, Texas, just about 20 miles away. Filmed that video in a country western type, saloon type of atmosphere to go with the song back in 2011. How did that come about? How did you guys pick that location? Tell me about the video shoot. That must have been a lot of fun, because it was just like mascots and stuffed animals running around everywhere with Sean shooting everybody. So that was, talk about that a little bit.
It was a fun one. You know, our director, he actually, shit, his name escapes me now. But he actually, you know, scouted the location and everything, and it's this little town, and it's in the middle of nowhere, and it's, I mean, I don't know if it's like primarily used for, you know, movie sets and things. I'd imagine so, but it's the coolest little place, and perfect for, you know, for the you know, concept we had for the video. But it was a fun one to do. You know, I mean, it's kind of a funny, quirky song, and we wanted the video to reflect that. So yeah, we were just running around dressed in cowboy gear, drinking vodka. You know, like it was one of those it was one of those video sets where, you know, the label people and management get very kind of nervous. You know, when you break out the bottle of vodka and start making drinks, and they're like, oh no, it's all gonna go to shit right now. You know? But I think, you know, I think if anything, you know, after like a couple of drinks, you kind of lose your inhibitions, and, you know, you screw around even more. And it's just, I think it's made it fun for everyone, and, you know, we messed around a little bit more. And I know that's one of my favorite videos we've done, and it was one of the easiest ones to make too. So yeah, our last video for Words as Weapons, we were actually kind of disappointed in, to be honest. It just didn't turn out the way we were told that it would, and you know, we spent all this money and it was kind of crap, and we're like, you know, next. So this, we're going to be working on a video here in about 2 weeks. We're going to be doing a new one in LA, and I think it's going to be a fun. It's going to be more along the lines of country song.
Do you know what song?
Same Damn Life.
Oh, that's right. There we go. Awesome.
Because it's one of those quirkier songs again, so we decided, you know, wanted to rather do a video that's fun to make, you know, instead of serious and, you know, trying to look badass, and you know, we're not those guys, man. We're pretty goofy guys. We like to get a couple cocktails in us.
Yeah.
Flip off the monkeys in the zoo, you know.
Well, we always hear about the long hours on a video set, but is that country song? Is that one of those where you take your sip of vodka and then you screw up the take on purpose and go, oh, hey, we got to redo that take again. Let me drink another one. Do you keep doing that sort of thing after a while?
Sometimes. Actually, that video was great because, you know, I mean, we obviously had, you know, the storyboard and the script and everything, but it was very much just a case of screwing around, and then, you know, they cut it all together and you know, put the story behind it. But it was just fun, and I think the next one's going to be the same. Only thing I'll give away is that it may or may not involve a nursing home.
There you go. Look for it. I love the riffs in that song and the backup vocals.
There'll certainly be a lot of drinking involved.
And now we'll look for nursing homes and drinking to go with it. Awesome. Well, one thing I've always wondered about you guys, of course, you and Sean Morgan and John Humphrey, the drummer, how did two South Africans, you and Sean, hook up with a drummer from Oklahoma City? And what is the secret to your relationship? Because you guys have been working together for almost 12 years at least on record. Probably knew each other longer. I don't know.
Actually, we, you know, Sean and I, you know, we started the band in South Africa. Came to the States in 2002, and our drummer at the time, he was a little older than us. You know, we were young. I mean, I think I was 22. Sean was about 23. And our drummer was a little older. You know, he was married, had kids, and he pretty much said, like, man, I can't make the move. I can't give up everything. You know. And Sean and I were like, hey, we'll do what it takes. You know, like, we'll give it all up, kind of thing. And we did, and you know, came over here, moved everything. You know, moved our whole lives over here, and we needed a drummer, and we got a guy for a while, Nico Shiro. He played with us for a while. He bailed. He actually went to Static X for a while.
Oh, wow.
And then we got a guy by the name of Kevin Seether, briefly. And that didn't work out so great. And then our sound engineer at the time, he said, look, I got this pal. I used to do sound for this band, the Nixons, in the 90s. And Johnny was the drummer in the Nixons. And he's like, I did sound for this band. He's a good guy. You know, I think you guys will like him. He's, you know, hits the drums hard. And I think you guys will get along. And we said, well, cool. You know, let's do it. So we had a day off and we kind of snuck away and did like we said, hey, you know, learn these songs. And he came in and just slayed it. And we said, pack your bags, pal. You know, let's do this. And like a week later, he was out and, you know, told Kevin, sorry, pal. You know, this is what's happening. And yeah, Johnny came out and yeah, he's been with us ever since. So yeah, it was literally through a friend, and like we met him, and a week later he was on the bus. And that's always a risky thing, because I think the hardest thing to do, you know, with adding band members and things like that is getting along on a personal level, because it's such a hard thing. I mean, music, you know, creative-wise and music-wise is one thing, but you know, to be able to live with someone, it's like a marriage. You know, you're on this little steel tube bombing down the highway 24/7, you know, in each other's space. So you have to get along. You know, you got to be friends. You got to be considerate. There's certain things you have to do to make it work. And you know, we got lucky with Johnny. You know, he'd done it before. He'd been touring for years. He'd been in a, you know, pretty big band, and so he knew what it was about. You know, we'd had guys before who came in and, I don't know, thought it was all sex, drugs, rock and roll, and it's not the case, man. It's not as glamorous or romantic, you know, and ideas I think people might have about it. So, and I think a lot of guys come out here and they expect, you know, just rolling around in money with, you know, girls fanning you with, you know, palm branches and feeding you grapes. You know, it's like, no, it's not the case, man.
Well, I remember when you guys came to Sunken Garden Theater in San Antonio in 2011. John had the his bass drum kick, or the drum holder had the Van Halen logo in his initials, JH.
Yeah.
Which was really cool. That was a nice touch.
He's got a Kiss one now.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
Bringing it out tonight.
Yeah, he'll have it rocking. It's I forget the album, but it's like the 4. That's us, but it's.
Oh, Rock and Roll Over. The 4 makeup faces in a circle.
Is that but it's like cartoony.
Yeah, that's Rock and Roll Over.
I don't know enough about Kiss. Johnny's like Kiss dictionary, but yeah, so we got that. It's it's us, but
we'll look forward to that.
Yeah, Johnny's old school, man. He's like massive Kiss fan. His Kiss collection is unbelievable. I mean, he's got the Pinball Machine, every album they've ever made, like times 10, like in cellophane, like action figures from the 70s in the box. I mean, it's got to be worth like high 6 figures. Like, I mean, he's got a room full. I mean, it looks like a store when you walk in there. And he's so meticulous. It's all everything's alphabetized. You know, his whole CD rack, just one wall full, and the DVDs are all alphabetized. And if you moved one thing, his spidey sense would go off, and he'd be like, "Did you move?" Yeah.
Well, you talk about how he replaced somebody in the band, but you and Sean obviously are original members, but you could personally never leave Seether, right? Because you've got the branding.
Mark of the Beast. Yeah.
It's on there for life, right?
Yes. my commitment's deep. If I did, I'd have to like have a kid and call it Seether or something to just keep that relevant.
Well, final question. Tell the people out there here on this Rockstar Uproar Festival, give them, I don't know how much you've been able to watch of the bands in the other stops prior to today, but give them a band out there that maybe most people don't know about, that has either caught you by surprise and you think people should keep an eye out for, that's on this festival. What's one, in your opinion, what's one of the bands that people should be looking out for?
I've got to say, man, Skillet's a great band. I mean, most people know about Skillet already, but they're killer band. They put on a great show. Good people too, that helps. But yeah, they're worth checking out. Great energy. It's kind of nice going on after a band like that, because it makes you go, oh shit, we gotta step up our game. Try and keep pace with these guys. So it's cool. I think that competition, at a show like this is cool, because there's camaraderie, but there's also like, okay, well, we need to step up our game and we've got to sound good tonight because they just killed it. We don't look like amateurs, to the crowd, and that helps. So yeah, they're killer. So
good deal.
Going on after them.
There you heard it from the man himself. Go check out Seether's new album, Isolate and Medicate. Go see him on the Rockstar Energy Drink Uproar Festival. And will you guys be touring the rest of the states after the fest, or going to Europe? What are your plans for that?
Yeah, we're after this, we're actually gonna go to Canada.
Okay.
And do a couple shows up there, and then I think we're gonna take a short break, and then I think do a few shows stateside, and then we're actually gonna go to Europe in November, and kind of end the year off in Europe, and then in the new year, I'm not exactly sure yet. We're still tossing ideas around, but I mean, we're going to be touring for at least another year or so. So we'll be doing the rounds. It's the iron's hot, so you got to strike.
Yes.
New album's out, so we're only on the first single. I'm sure there's going to be at least 3 or 4. So we'll be out there.
Very good. Well, Mr. Stewart, thank you very much for taking the time.
Thanks, man.
Absolutely, been a great fan, big fan for you guys for since day one. Go check them out. Awesome, great playing the new music, and guys just keep putting out great new material. And you're always welcome back in San Antonio. I know we saw you at the River City Rock Fest over Memorial Day not too long ago.
Yeah. And
you guys have been coming to San Antonio for a long time. If you ever want to film another video in that area again, you're always welcome to do so. Please let me know in advance. I'd love to go check it out.
Right.
So for Dale, this is Jay Nanda, Access.com, reminding you, don't hang them out to dry. Hold them up high.